that theory there. Oh, they're going to ban Grumpjaw. They're following the same draft. Mousesports will most likely pick up either Lyra or Voxer, but I feel like they're going to pick the Vox because if they don't, it will be banned or taken away from them. So let's see what Mousesports is going to decide here.
Yeah, a lot of options available to them, but the Vox definitely feels like a power pick. Also, things like Grace are first pickable, but we've seen Mouse really not favoring the Grace all too much.
Yeah, they haven't really put a whole lot of focus on it. They've kind of let it through the draft. They've played against it. They've banned it away a couple of times, but they're really putting a lot of thought into this one. I'm wondering if they are just contemplating if they want the Vox or the Grace.
They might even first pick Kestro, actually, so that they make sure I'm the Doom is going to be on his signature hero. But I think out of the 3 options, it's going to be Lyra, Kestro. Oh, they're going to go with Arden. Wow. So that's an interesting pick because now Kestro and Vox can be banned against them and taken away from them. I think this is a very risky pick here by Mousesports because Arden, even though strong, is not good into Grace.
Yeah, potentially wanting to keep their cards close to their chest, but maybe have misplayed on this draft. We'll have to find out as the draft continues. It's going to be Grace picked up by Dynasty and now looking towards the next ban.
Yeah, it's especially curious because of the fact that they've already shown they can play the Finn extremely well. You don't expect there to be an Arden and or Finn picked up for the side of Dynasty after they have the Grace pick, and they can only ban away one of them, so I feel like they definitely should have locked down their Vox or their Kestrel pick.
Okay, well, we'll see how Dynasty will react, whether they can take both of those away, whether they want to take both of those away. Definitely we've seen some of the teams within EU like to go with very different drafts to what you would expect to be the case. I'm going to be intrigued to see if Mowgli goes for the Finn this time as well.
Yeah, they're probably gonna ban Vox here and take Glaive potentially because I think Vox would make the most sense. Giving Vox Arden is actually very dangerous because Arden gives Vox that mobility, but instead they're gonna ban the Blackfeather away, which is so interesting because again, I'm the Doom is good on CV Blackfeather, but that's not a hero that poses a huge threat like his Kestro does.
Perhaps looking to pick up the Kestrel. We'll have to see with the next couple of picks. Only 16 seconds of bonus time remaining. So, Dynasty running out of time. They've got to start to make these decisions now.
Yeah, they have to take the Vox here. If they give Vox, Kestro over to Mousesports, that's a very dangerous combination and very strong comfort picks on Mousesports here. So they need to take the Vox or the Kestro here, potentially. They actually go with Baptiste.
Okay, Grace Batiste. We've kind of let that slip through the conversation. Very strong. We saw it dominant earlier today. Is it enough to close the gap against Mouse? That was the question we were asking earlier. Now we're going to find out.
I think it is. It also does really well into Arden. You can cancel off the gauntlets with 2 different abilities on the Batiste, but it's going to be difficult to choose where do you prioritize. Do you focus on canceling the gauntlet, or do you try and shut down this Vox?
Yeah, they're probably going to go with Samuel or Kestro here. Again, range counters Baptiste, so Kestro would be the better pick, honestly, not Samuel. Samuel is easier to lock down with Baptiste and Grace. So with Kestro, they can actually outrange the Baptiste and not come within range. However, when Grace maximizes and overdrives her Benediction, her A, it goes from a range 7 to a range 9. So she actually get on Kestro very quickly once she reaches level 8.
And
so,
especially if it's a CP Kestrel, once they're actually onto you, it's very difficult to escape. You can't use that active camo to get yourself out of the situation.
Yeah, the other thing is there's no real on-demand crowd control from the side of Mousesports, so this is definitely going to be a Benediction max for the Grace. Maxing, overdriving the B is a great utility, but only when there is on-demand crowd control.
So a lot of pressure on Justman to get those gauntlets perfect. But we've got to look at this Dynasty comp right now. This is surely the dream comp right now. This is the meta comp.
Yeah, this is the comfort comp versus comfort comp. So both these teams play all these heroes extremely well. So it's going to come down to skill, really, a skill matchup. However, I feel like I'm the Doom on this Kestro along with F1's on Vox is going to be able to take this game as well.
I'm going to go the opposite side. I think Dynasty with the Grace Batiste Glaive is just such a devastating composition. They should be able to get all 3 members diving and focusing on the same target and be able to blow them up.
All right, we'll have to wait and see if Dynasty can push this to a 3rd game in our finals. Let us know who you're supporting. Hashtag Vainglory. Get involved in the conversation. But without further ado, let's pass it to our casters for game number 3.
Thank you very much, and this is going to be very interesting. We see this very meta, it seems, composition being the Grace, the Batiste, and the Glaive for the side of Dynasty. PT Lamb's Glaive has been monstrous so far in the VG8, but it's I'm the Doom on this Kestrel, it's Apfel on this Vox, and seemingly Mouse going to be very comfortable going into Dynasty's dream composition.
So we've talked before today about the fact that Dynasty has had very consistently good performances on B side. They tend to pick up this Grace, and they just seem to have something about their draft that they really thrive on in the situation. But I am a little bit concerned about how specifically this composition is going to interact with what is being offered here by Mousesports. I do wonder if maybe Dynasty has tunnel visioned a little bit on a draft that has been successful for them in the past. It's honestly going to be quite hard for Mowgli to be effective against the Vox. We've seen that already. We've seen the Glaive shut down by, some of the stuff that Mouse has to offer too. So it's all about Batiste. Is Batiste strong enough to be the difference maker between last game and this game?
We'll soon find out, as it is going to be the side of Mouse starting to move towards the lane. We do see that Doom has secured his full rotation, but won't be contesting this central treant, respecting the fact that Rukameza on this Batiste, paired with the Grace, just provides such a strong level 1, level 2 fight that you can't really contest against. What I want to see though, will Dynasty invade? It's what really helped them storm ahead in their semi-final against SK, trying to shut down the squishy Samuel, I believe it was. Now it is going to be a Kestrel.
The Mouse actually managed to steal that one away. Dynasty, they're continuing to try and pressure regardless, though. This is very bold.
One was secured, one was not. Mowgli's taking a lot of damage. Just PT Lamb, they're looking to fight here, but the Ordained will keep at least Apfel back. I'm the Doom, very low on energy, but Apfel's going to charge forward. He's looking for the fight. He's going to go on to PT Lamb here, stops Mowgli from pulling back as well. Bad Mojo thrown out, but they've split, and it's going to be 3 chasing 2. PT Lamb says, let me be the sacrificial lamb, as he has an afterburn. He's going to start porting in this bush. I think he gets away. No, the Glimmer Shot connects, and there he goes, up over the wall, and he's gone. Apfel won't find the kill onto Mowgli, so Dynasty do survive, but what do they lose in all of this? Look at the farm going to crash into the turret. Apfel actually has to be careful. Maybe it won't crash into the turret after all.
Oh, that's brutal. Okay, so yesterday after the game, where we saw this comp, but it was a Koshka instead of Glaive, I messaged Mowgli and I was like, dude, I think this is a great comp, but I was really worried about you playing it into the Samuel and all the stuff he had going on. And he was like, look, we just need to work on our early game. Our early game was nowhere near good enough for the comp. We should have been super dominant. Then we come into today, and they're 3-man invading when they have like level 1 members still, right? I can't help but feel like that's not necessarily correct. Like, that's just that is aggression almost for the sake of aggression, right? Unless you get every single camp, it's just never going to pan out, especially against the Kestrel. I honestly think Mouse, if they'd made slightly different moves, would have found 2 kills there easily, no problem. So, it was very bold. And you've got to be careful when you have a strategy that's kind of a pocket strategy, right? It's something you've really prepared, you really know, it's like a set piece, you know that you're going to bring it to the table. You got to be careful not to lose the ability to adapt in the heat of the moment to what your opponents have. I do not think that play made sense into the Kestrel, into the Arden, things that can disappear or get more tanky with the Vanguard or turn around and do a lot of damage if you make a misstep. As a result, we saw the kill, but we also saw Sentry go the way of Mouse. Sorry, not Sentry, Middle Treant. So things are already kind of hairy for Dynasty. They got to be careful not to let it get out of control.
You make a nice little invade and still cut away some of the camps just now, but it is going to be Mouse fairly even as things stand up for moving down to the shop, but Rukameza is currently guarding it a little bit dicey for Apfel, as he's actually not going to get the item he wants. PG Lamb's going to cut him off. They're going to look to try and triangulate on his position. Fountain goes out. Apfel gets the heal. I'm the Doom going to land down Glimmer Shots, but Just Man is going to lose his life to a bad mojo thrown from Rukameza, and that's going to be a 1-for-1 scoreline now even.
That was brutal, actually, for Apfel there. because
Doom?
He tried to move down. There's a sentry here.
Doom! Oh, Doom. That is just really poor understanding of your opponent's positions.
Sentry defeated.
Yeah, that was a couple of missteps, actually, from Mousesports. But let's start at the beginning, because it really all went together here. So the big thing to begin with is that Apfel got blocked by Rikumeza. And I think where the mistakes began is not just saying, okay, I'm still going to go to the shop and buy. Look at him, he's on 1,800 gold right now. Yes, Rikumeza was there, but you'd actually flared, I believe, the other shop push, so you knew he wasn't backed up. You can just take a bit of damage to get your item and turn on Rikumeza. You've also got I'm the Doom on the flank, in your jungle who can come and back you up. So sometimes you just have to make the bold play, and that was actually exactly the time where I think Apfel needed to. Then he bailed, but PT Lamb was like, oh, so he just tried to shop and was unable to. I'll just cut him off on the way back to lane. He's super squishy right now. Easy aggression from the side of Dynasty. Yeah, Apfel didn't end up being the one that went down. It was, Just Man being the sacrificial lamb. But still, Dynasty, they pinned him in. And because Apfel didn't have, the boldness to actually make that shop, there was no way they could really win a fight. There was just a big item discrepancy. Then on top of that, you saw, he was unable to participate when the sentry would have been something they could leverage to find more. It just all went wrong from that one misplay.
Look at this, it's going to be Just Man knocked completely out of position. PT Lamb may lose his life still. Diamond Doom looking for the kills. Everyone's lined up here. And I'm the Doom spread the needle once more. One shot comes out. Mowgli will be taken on down. It's the wait for it that actually finishes the job. And a snipe from both Apfel and Doom being paired for that result. Both captains go down. I'm the Doom looking for a trap here. Will Rikumeza fall for it? Doesn't seem like it. But a bit of damage may go down to this turret. Both PT Lamb and Rikumeza are vulnerable, but they could blow someone up in a heartbeat if they land an afterburn. It's not going to happen.
One thing I really like about... Oh,
it may happen. Apfel very far forward. He's going to go for the kill. Yep, okay. That should not have happened. Mistakes from Mouse. I make these predictions, AJ, based on the fact that I expect a little bit more respect, I think, from Mouse. And respect hasn't been the name of the game. This game.
No, they've been sort of choosing weird times to go in and out of these fights a little bit. They have done some very smart things, like they've been able to fight those super early game fights to keep it as even as it is now. They've also been finding good consistent pressure onto the enemy turret, which is something you can really do well with a Kestrel pickup. I like that they go in, they burn all of the glimmer shots, and they just leave, right? And then they can go in later if they want to and finish up the turret, but they don't commit to it. They're just, they're playing around these things. But what they are failing to do is know when and where Dynasty will push them, right? And it should, you should always assume, especially if you don't have vision, that Dynasty does, and that they are going to find the best possible times for them, and therefore the worst for you, to go in. They're not doing that. They're committing to recalls when they need to back each other up. They're getting trapped because they try and rotate back to lane in the non-safe way. They're not giving respect, like you said, to Dynasty. Instead, they're assuming that Dynasty won't be in the right position. And there's no good reason to do that when you don't have vision.
Glaive doesn't need much HP to single out a single, one opponent in a lane and throw him towards a Baptiste. You really just need to respect the power that these heroes bring. And I'm not saying that it's game over for Mouse by any stretch of the measure. It's just these are little advantages that you're giving over to Dynasty. They've got a 2,000 gold lead at this point, and you don't need to be giving them anything for free. Make them work for their leads. At least that way you keep yourself more even in this game. Dynasty, with the siege, not quite working out for the Mowgli, taking a lot of damage, does have divine intervention. Have to be careful of I'm the Doom's Kestrel and the ability to really poke people down from range.
Dynasty are not Mousesports. They can't siege. They don't have a composition for that. They need to be actually finding fights. Right now, they're not even attempting to. They're just trying to push lane.
They can go for one shot now. The turret goes, and where does PT Lamb hide is the question. That's going to be a gauntlet going down. The one shot flies out, doesn't connect, but they're looking for the fight on the other side. Rikumeza throws out the fear, does stun up. Apfel very low, but the fountain comes out. Apfel just about able to escape, and PT Lamb looking to charge on him, but won't find a primary target. Everyone from Dynasty all healed up thanks to that divine intervention fountain combination. They could look to maybe poke down a little bit more. They don't have a minion wave is the problem, so having to steal camps, maybe get a crystal sentry is their only option.
That gauntlet was absolutely fantastic. I want to highlight that for a second because it really did separate PT Lamb. But Mouse had the wrong reaction to the gauntlet being so good. They said, all right, well, PT Lamb's low, I'll go for the one-shot, right? Apple was fighting elsewhere. They needed target focus. Like, during that gauntlet where everyone was split, they had the opportunity to kill one person very quickly, and they chose to try and split focus by, I'm the Doom committing to PT Lamb with a one-shot. They honestly could have found kills there, and as a result, as a result of their misplay, they're actually going to lose Sentry here. The gold lead actually maintained and extended a little bit from Dynasty. So when you're playing against a Grace especially, you need to have good target focus. It's more of an issue than it usually is, because if you don't have good target focus, then not only does neither person die in the first instance, but when you eventually, lose some health because the target focus wasn't there and they turn it around, but then they also get to heal one of those people up and it backfires completely, right? It really goes poorly in that situation.
Despite the fact that there is a gold lead over to Dynasty, it does feel like Mouse are currently dictating the pacing of this game. The range advantage they have seemingly being the catalyst to their ability to keep Dynasty at bay. They clear these waves very quickly with the Resonance and the Glimmer shots, and I'm the Doom just landing consistent damage. That one shot won't connect. Divine Invention will heal them back up. PTNM coming forward, but they have the Gauntlet ready to go. Yeah, that's a huge stun onto Doom, but he gets the Vanguard. He escapes fine, and now they're looking to return on. That's the first kill going over. Great Gauntlet catches Rikumeza down. Apple trying to get the kill. Will he get it? Yes, he will. And there should be another ace going over to Mouse as Mowgli tries his best to hold everyone at bay, but I'm the Doom is going to snipe him to death. An ace for Mouse. They're going to look to capitalize off it.
Man, Sweet Joe was talking about Just Man's gauntlets earlier on. I gotta give it to him. They are just on point again and again. Last fight they were great, but not capitalized on. This time they were perfect, and they didn't even need to be capitalized on because the fight was already pretty over, to be honest. Also, again, what's with their opponents? What's with Dynasty trying to force these fights by the turret? Why not? I mean, it's just taking Goldmine is fully, basically fully stacked there. Could have gone for that. Could have gone for Sentry. Could have gone for back camps. They don't have siege. They do not have good siege. They do not outrange people like Kestrel. It's not as if Baptiste is playing against a triple melee comp and he can go up in siege. That's not going to happen. You've got to play to your composition's win conditions, skirmishing, team fighting, early game pressure in the jungle. Those are the things Dynasty can do. They cannot push turrets yet. They don't have that big a lead.
Currently, at full, building towards his second damage item, going to be a breaking point seemingly. I'm the Doom, consistently going down this double Shatterglass build. Very good into double squishies, and I think that PTLM's build is fairly squishy despite the fact that Glaive is a tanky hero. One shot connects, look at that, 400 damage onto him. A lot of damage. Now Mouse can continue charging forward. Just Man, he doesn't have a gauntlet. It's not up for 20 seconds, so Mouse can't hard chase, but they've done enough to push Dynasty back here and really set up for the next part of this fight, which would be Gauntlet Part 2 in this series, I guess.
Currently, keep your eye on Rikumeza, though. He's one away from popping his perk, and he's hitting for 500 plus every time he bad mojos with that on. And that was actually before he even popped Infusion, which he now has active. He's got to look for the right target, though. Needs to be I'm the Doom or Apful, ideally. I'm the Doom is even better with the lack of shielding on him.
Yeah, you stack up your Reap passive on the minion wave, throw the bad mojos out. They're going on to Apfel, it's a good stun. A lot of damage being put out. There's the gauntlet, everyone's trapped inside it. Wait for it, flies out, but it's Mouse not really wanting the fight. Another Divine Intervention comes out from Dynasty, and that is everyone healed back up, and everyone on Mouse looking very weak. Justman does have Fountain. Apfel going to try and clear the way, but it's going to be another Crystal Sentry focus, it seems, from Dynasty, and this is going to be the third and final elimination from the map. Dynasty at least have set up. If they start coming back in this game, they will never have to worry about the Crystal Sentry.
Yeah, it's totally gone now, which is definitely good. It doesn't mean that Dynasty can't leverage it for more
they're all
plays.
stacked
Here comes
up.
the fight, though.
Apfel dodges backwards. They've got the trap set up. That's going to be a Ordained going out, but it was onto Justman, not really the main target. And Apfel, he's so risky. He's so far forward. One shot flies out. Can Apfel do the work? Look at the damage coming out of this man. First hill goes down a second to Doom. And Doom going to continue charging forward, but he doesn't have the one shot to finish off the job. Can he find a Glimmer shot? No, he's not going to, but he will be able to steal the backs. Apfel is absolutely a crazy man on this Vox. It is insane his confidence in team fights when he has this hero.
You know, it is absolutely insane, but at the same time, he's playing poker whilst looking at the opponent's hand. They already burned a bunch of cooldowns. He knew that. Apfel knew that he could get on the backline without getting crowd controlled because Ordained had just been used to stun Justman, because Mowgli had already dashed onto the backline. These were things that were very, calculated risks from Apfel, and whilst he had that window, he didn't waste any time. He managed to make it work. As a result, Mouse are now firmly in the lead. I mean, for goodness sakes, look at the turret. Has hardly even taken any damage. Dynasty, they're on the back foot, and I don't see an easy way into it. They're going to need to find a pick. That is the answer, which means that Mowgli needs a lot of vision. I like the contraption for just that reason. Maybe if he does surprise Mouse by having a lot of vision, he will be able to look for that pick.
Yeah, he's really going to have to find Doom out of position, trying to set up a sneaky trap. Doom loves to go for them. It's his strongest point and perhaps his weakest at the same time, is his ability to carry games and throw them simultaneously by mispositioning or over-positioning for these great risky plays. Currently this siege though, just not successful from Dynasty, consistently looking for this pick. The flares flying out, trying to find everyone, keep eyes on Mowgli. Mowgli going to be throwing the scab traps down and spotting out these active camo. Kraken is here. It's a really not a huge gold lead for Mouse, considering all things.
It doesn't need to be though. I mean, they have a comp that can utilize this gold lead very well. Here comes the engage.
Doom's caught out. He gets the fountain, but there's the active camo trap. Is it enough? Gauntlet goes down. Rickameza can't get in. Fearsome Shade comes through, but it's just not enough. Apfel with a first. Apfel looking for a second here, but it looks like it's going to be him just chasing onto Rickameza and letting Mowgli go down to I Am the Doom. I love the confidence in his teammate to finish his job, and Apfel looking for the ace. Can he find it? No, he's under 2 turrets. He's just going to kill himself. Oh, he gets the ace. Does not matter. The ace comes through, and now they can look to push down, even secure a Kraken.
All right, so in that fight, PT Lamb almost did what he needed to do, right? Like, you've got to burst someone down on this weapon-powered wave. That's what is strong about the pick. But Rickameza was very far away from that fight, and on top of that, when he actually came back into the fight, he decided to use Fearsome Shade to try and execute I'm the Doom, rather than trying to peel Apfel off of PT Lamb or Mowgli. It was a bit dicey. PT Lamb is going to come in here, though.
Yeah, this is so risky. He's got the Scout Traps at active camo. One shot flies out. It's secured by I'm the Doom. Oh, Kestrel does not take Kraken very quickly by herself. More quickly than Samuel and Sky, but not quick enough to secure the fact that it's going to be a safe take of the Kraken. PT Lamb almost stole that.
Yeah, that was very, very close. It honestly could have gone the other way. But Mousesports, now with that Kraken, are just in prime position to take home the game. They 2-0 Dynasty here if they lock it in, and that would be a second win in a row week-wise for Mousesports, a team coming into the split that no one really could have anticipated being this strong. GG, they're just going to go for it.
Yeah, wait for it flies out. That's a huge sign. Let's look at the damage onto Rickameza. Apfel's in the middle of it all, and look, he's just going to go down, but Mowgli will get caught here. Kraken's still alive. They're going to try and find I'm the Doom. I think they have to try and find I'm the Doom, try and burn him up before the Kraken does too much damage. It's 20 seconds on Rickameza. He will give up chase unless PT Lamb goes down. Divine Intervention keeps him nice and safe for now. This is very risky from I'm the Doom. I don't think they can realistically get too close to this turret. If the Glimmer Shots connect, just even if it's 1 or 2, then it might just be enough for this Kraken to secure 1 Bane Crystal turret.
Yeah, I think that Kraken won't quite find it. But let's talk about that fight a little bit. That was an absolutely unbelievable Fearsome Shade from Rickameza. I'm honestly surprised the fight didn't go further in Dynasty's court. The problem was that, the one shot came out afterwards. It really softened them up. Great gauntlet just to make sure that Mowgli couldn't stay particularly healthy and maybe turn the fight. But the Fearsome Shade, that's like the dream scenario. Like, you fear the captain and one of the damage dealers, and you kill the carry. Beautiful stuff. If you can find something like that again, I honestly think, Dynasty, they've got the single target bursts to maybe turn some of these fights around.
It's always been that case with this composition, that if they manage to get onto one target, whether it be Kestrel, probably the priority, then they can blow her up. Apfel does have some sustain. Now going towards some crit to finish off his build here. Dynasty still attempting to get this first turret, but just being denied. It's not even dropped under half HP yet. 20 minutes into this game, AJ, it doesn't feel like Dynasty are out for the count just yet, but it certainly seems like Mouse is getting closer to securing their second week of EU.
They are definitely within reach of it. See the infusion picked up on Castro. Oh, they spot him out!
Oh, they spot Doom. They've caught him. He's dead instantly. Apfel now has to kite like a god, or else he's just gone down. Good Gauntlet traps everyone up. Apfel just 1v1ing Rikumeza. Does he have the damage? It seems he does. He goes through. He blocks the Ordained, but the reach of the Glaive able to just pop him in that burst. Losing their Baptiste, I'm not sure it really means anything. Justman just trying to provide time more than anything. If he holds this wave up, then it prevents a huge push, but PTLM is going to secure his turret.
Man, I absolutely lost the plot in that fight. I sort of defaulted to thinking Dynasty were getting jumped on, but no, it was Kestrel getting blown up. Really, really strong engagement. If you don't know that you have safety to move forward in stealth, it can be a really risky
Justman dies here, right?
Very likely, right? Like PT Lamb's got the damage. Unless Kestrel can come and turn it.
Oh, the bait!
Oh, no.
Oh, the bait! I'm the Doom! Oh, he's got one shot as well. They're going to chase forward. Apfel's ready to take this fight. They're charging on in. They're looking for the damage here, AJ. They want to finish this right here, right now, and it looks like Mowgli's going to use that Divine Intervention just to buy the time. But he goes down, he gets trapped, and he's dead. Kraken, it's available, and Mouse are going to look to take it.
Oh man, the Vanguard did so much work at just barely keeping Justman alive there. We've got Rikumeza near the Kraken. PT Lamb did have to back. I wonder if he can get here in time to contest, maybe steal it away. It was close earlier on. Could be close again. Rikumeza needs to... He doesn't have any of his stacks yet, though.
Oh, the fear. That's going to be Apfel in a war. He gets knocked out, but no huge block, and PT Lamb just gets destroyed. The Gauntlet won't trap Rikumeza, but it might just be done. It's a 50-second death timer on PT Lamb. Rikumeza's not going to go back home. He is going to get blown up to smithereens. It's an ace for Mouse, and it's now looking like it's going to be GG.
That was really close to working, but PT Lamb didn't commit quickly enough. He didn't actually find the knockback during the B ability on the Baptiste. It's going to be game, Dalsy. I think Mousesports done it.
They are taking down this Vein Crystal, and in a clean 2-0, they're going to defeat Dynasty here and take their second consecutive week of Europe.
Mousesports look incredibly strong. It's interesting, though, that Reliable Union was the team to give them the most pushback this week. Excited to see what they can offer next week, too. Dynasty, they did improve also. Across the board, I feel like Europe is really pushing forward, is really innovating a little on 2 dots.